I asked you for both hair-related and personal questions, and you did not disappoint. Gulp, there's some quite spicy ones in there. Without further ado, let's get into and Ask Me Anything. Hello and welcome to the world of Craig. Yes, that's me, I'm Craig, and this is my channel where we get into all things hair and sometimes a little bit of beauty. And sometimes I film Ask Me Anything when I'm on holiday. Oh yes, I've taken a week off. Well, I've actually got 2 weeks off, but I'm away for a week here in Cyprus. Before we get into all of your fantastic questions, it's only fair that I show you exactly what I'm sitting here looking at as I'm filming this. Hold on a second, look at this. Yes, it is pretty much like paradise here. Welcome to Cyprus, welcome to Paphos, the Almira Hotel. Just a quick look. I've been coming here every year for the last 20 years and you can now see why. Okay, let's get on with those questions. Woohoo! Yes, I know, it's very beautiful. I've been coming here, as I've just mentioned, for a long time. It's a really lovely place. The hotel is absolutely gorgeous and they really look after me. I've been here now for 5 days and I'm not really picking my feet up as I walk along. So yeah, amazing, exactly what I needed. Just to mention that my setup here is slightly different. So I have a different tripod and the lighting's probably different and the sound is probably different as well. So I apologize if any of that is annoying, because it might be, who knows. It is about 95 degrees here. So, and I haven't got the aircon on because I know that would annoy a lot of people. So it's quite warm. So just bear that in mind. Anyway. So I've asked you all for questions. We've got some really fantastic hair questions. Oh, there's an elephant in the room, isn't there? A big one. I'm blonde again. Yes. If you wanted lots more information on my blondness, this time last year, so a year ago, if you scroll back, there are some videos of me taking you through the process of my blonde. There are examples of the toner, because I know lots of people will want that too, but that's all here on my channel. So you've given me some amazing questions, both hair related, which we're gonna get into, and just a couple of personal ones. Not that I am a very guarded person, but I never really get that many personal ones. If you want more of my hair day to day, and you want to see things like when I come to places like this, then go to my Instagram, which is not Craig's World, the World of Craig, that's the one. It is Craig's World of Hair. You'll find my day-to-day over there and lots more short form content and lots and lots of hair stuff. Right, first question. So I've got my iPad that is packed full of your wonderful questions. And the first one is from David. I'm gonna pop these on screen as we go through. Thank you very much for your question. Thank you all of you for your questions. I know I won't get to everybody's question because we don't want this video to be 3 hours long. Nobody would want that. And that'd be awful to edit as well. So David is asking, and this is something I talk about a lot more here on my channel now, because I get asked a lot for specific formulas and what to use to get this and what to use to get that. Every single head of hair is different and I can't give people, individual specific formulas. But David is asking about creating an ashy result. For instance, if I tone a level 10 medium textured hair, how much ash do I need to make it to neutral, or to make it very ashy, or to make it silver or white? Well, obviously the amounts will be different for every one of those results, but they'll also be different for every single canvas. My school of thought, my kind of general rule is, and I don't really use ash at all on a level 10, I would use violet, and I would perhaps use a bit of silver, like a titanium or something like that. But I wouldn't use ash like a stroke 1 or a dot 1 because it's too powerful. So my general rule of thumb, and what is in my toner, there are several things which are in that video that I mentioned, and I'm sure I will be making content about it, but my general rule is this. If it's a level 10 and you want a really zingy result, and you don't want it to go too dark, then I would have a couple of parts of clear or 3 parts of clear, and then 1 part of violet, maybe a little bit of pearl, maybe a little bit of tea like titanium or a bit of silver. But really, the majority of that formula is going to be clear if you want the result to be zingy. How much? I don't know, because it differs from each individual head of hair, but there is a whole toning playlist here on my channel. So I can't give you finite answers for things like that. But just remember, more clear than you actually have of the final tone, whatever tone it is, and obviously if you're a level 10, it's going to be a bit of yellow, more clear than the tone will keep the result bright and zingy. Apologies if I don't have everybody's name. I do like to name check people. I think it's only fair because you spend your time to send me the questions, but these are from both Instagram and here. Are they from anywhere else? No, they're just from Instagram and from on here. So I've screenshotted them and that's why they're all in here. So this is a great one. Best clarifying shampoo. So in my opinion, the best clarifying shampoo is the Detox from K18. There's a video about it here on my channel. That removes up to 99% of product buildup and minerals and metals from the hair in just one shampoo. If I'm squinting a little bit, I apologize, it's incredibly bright, which is good. We love that. I'm getting very warm. So that would be the Detox shampoo from K18. It's color safe. It removes, like I said, 99% of product buildup and minerals and metals from the hair. I shampoo my hair with it, even when it's bleached. It's brilliant to have if you're a hair professional in the salon. But it is colour safe and it's not harsh at all. If you want something that's a bit punchier, then I like Alternate Action, that's a Matrix product. Then I also like the one from Redkin that I can't remember the name of right now because it's hot, so I'll pop it on the screen. Cleansing Cream, that's the one, that one's really good too. If you want something that's really fierce, then I wouldn't spend a lot of money on a clarifying shampoo. But in my opinion, the best one, and it's not a cheap product, K18, none of the K18 line is cheap because it's innovative. That's why the formula is so great. If you want to know more, check out my K18 playlist here on my channel and the Detox shampoo. Let's have a personal question. This is a fantastic one from Ava and something I get asked all the time if I'm ever being interviewed or writing, or someone is interviewing me for something that's going to be online, or if I'm writing a blurb, a PR blurb. People want to know what I would have wanted to have done if I wasn't a hairdresser. That's quite simple. By the way, I've wanted to do hair since I was 4, and I still love it now as much as when I started when I was 15 years old. I left school at 15, I wasn't academic. The teacher said, you're probably best off, Craig, if you just go out and do your stuff. So it's going to be something that's creative. For a little while, I did want to be an actor. But I'm glad I didn't do that because that's a very tricky profession to be in. It's very competitive and there are a lot of actors out there. But it would probably be something like fashion design, something really creative, or visual merchandising, like in stores, the way that people do that, like creative, that's a very creative outlet. Or graphic design, I absolutely love graphic design. I do all my own thumbnails, I do everything you see is all done by me. Editing, I love the creativeness of editing, although sometimes it's quite a lot if a video is very long. It takes about 5 hours to edit a video, often, for me anyway. So yes, it probably would have been fashion, I would say. Eva, thank you very much for your question. Here's a great one from Beverly. This comes up from time to time. Would you get rid of a difficult client and how? Put your teeth in, Craig. Thanks, Beverly. No, I would never get rid of a difficult client. My attitude is this. If you're going to be tricky, there's a paraglider just going past the window. If you're going to be tricky, I will have your money until the end of time. I don't believe in this culture of sacking clients. I think it's extremely negative. We're going to get serious here for a second. I think it's extremely negative and can do people's businesses a lot of harm. I think there is a culture of wading into DMs and all of a sudden saying, well, I've done brilliant hair, and if you don't, absolutely not. What we do as hairdressers has very little actually to do with the hair. I mean, it does obviously have, you need to create a great result and have strong technical ability. But as I say time and time again, and if you come to a class of mine in person in this country or any other country where people want me to go, then it's something I always talk about. You know, it's how people feel. So no, I would never, ever, ever get rid of a difficult client. And I don't really have difficult clients, but I'm often put in situations when I do my freelance session work where things can be a little bit bananas from time to time, but I love that. I relish the fact of making someone feel so great that you can turn a situation around. So yeah, maybe there is, 1%. There is 1% of a client out there who can just be out to be tricky. And it's something I've been talking with people in the hotel about it, people that work in hospitality, because they're also lovely. There is a very small fraction, but most people can be turned around. And if you make people feel great and look great, you're onto a winner. Just to add to that very briefly, that is very, something I think is worth sharing, that if you let that tricky client, you know, in a salon situation, or if you go to people's homes, if you let that tricky client, if you let that get in your head, then that's what you're going to put out. So I don't ever think that a client is tricky. I just think that some people, you know, need a little bit more of you than others. Let's just pop this on the screen. Wow. Let's just say that people have many facets, and we'll leave that there. How lovely is that? How lovely is that? Yes, of course we can. Of course we can. Just take a moment. I want to take a moment just to say thank you to everybody. You know, my channel is still growing and my community over here is growing. I think all of you are wonderful. Your support means so much to me. And the fact that I get to share my knowledge with you and the comments I get, you know, the fact that a lot of the time I can help make a difference really means a lot to me. So yes, if anybody's ever in London and they'd like to go and have a drink, then of course. Now this is a good one and an interesting one and worth talking about. What would be an alternative to Redkin Shades EQ? Used it for years, it's fab, need to change because of allergies. So there are an awful lot of Shades EQ gloss dupes out there. It's a very popular product. It's the jewel in Redkin's crown, if you like. I teach education that's all around Shades EQ. The lovely folks at Redkin get me in as a guest artist. I host events for them sometimes as well. I love the Redkin team, they're really lovely people. And of course I love Shades EQ Gloss. I've used it for over 25 years. There's an entire playlist here on my channel. But this isn't the answer a lot of people will want, but there really isn't a dupe for it. There isn't anything that is exactly the same as it, because that formula is unique. I have used, I think probably the nearest thing to it for me that I used to use a long time ago is the Paul Mitchell, I think they call it the Demi now. I think it used to be called PM Shines when I used it. That is quite similar, but like Shades EQ Gloss, it's a pro product, so it's quite hard to get hold of unless you are a hair professional. As far as the others, I have tested a lot of them. I was even offered quite a lot of money last year, year before last, to make a product saying that something that they had sent me was better than Shades EQ, and it wasn't. So I didn't make the video, and I wouldn't anyway, because it's just cheap, and that's not the person I am. So yeah, I'm afraid there isn't anything that's the same. It is incredibly unique, and I'm very sorry that you have developed an allergy to it, but there will be things out there that you can get similar results with. I just wouldn't want to recommend anything to you and you'd be disappointed. A great question about hair tools. What are your thoughts around using a blow dry brush? I know so many people do, and I'm a big fan. Do you think it's more damaging using a blow dryer and a round brush? It's such a great question, thank you so much. I think that it's quite similar, quite comparative. I think that a blow dry brush, so you know, something that blows air, that has a brush on it, that sometimes they rotate. I think that that's much easier to manipulate yourself at home. Remington, Babyliss make them. I've tried both of those two. They're very, very good. The brush that comes on the Shark Flex style, really good. I've also tried that. A client of mine bought hers in. I did a recent video on hot tools I wouldn't use. I'll link that in the description. Dyson and GHD. Controversial. Some GHD, not all of them. So yeah, I think it's really whatever's best for you. It's very hard if you're a consumer at home to wrangle a brush and a blow dryer. If you're going to use a brush, if you would want me to recommend a brush, I would say the YS Park brushes. All my clients use them. I get them for them. They just love them. They make such a difference because they're really good at gripping the hair. It's getting so hot in here. But I think there's not really a lot in it. It's more about being very careful when the hair is very wet and not overstretching it, whether you are using a hot tool device or a brush and a blow dryer. And of course, heat protectant. One more time, heat protectant. This is funny. Anything. Okay, spicy one. Who is your celebrity crush? I don't really have a celebrity crush. I think Jake Gyllenhaal is very good looking. But then I also think Lenny Kravitz is very good looking. So it's tricky. I don't really have, excuse me, just dropped my pencil. I don't really have a specific type. I never really have had a specific type. So I think there's beauty in lots of people, and that sounds really cliche, but I have been single now for probably about 7 years, and I'm really enjoying being single, and and I think I probably will be single for a long time yet. Never say never, but I have a lovely time, I have a great life. So yeah, I've always thought Jake Gyllenhaal was gorgeous. So if I had to pick one person, Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, I suppose I should ask, who is your celebrity crush? There's one out there. Come on, let me know in the comments who it is that you have got your eye on in the celebrity land. So let's have a question about red hair, okay? I dye my hair red and would love some tips for how to make red hair pop at home. Also, how to use red or colour enhancers to hair dye and how to do maintenance at home. So red, if it's a red, like a true red, or even a copper, like an orange-based red, those colours are always going to fade quicker because of the way that the dye molecules are deposited in the hair. And artificial dyes like that, when they're very vibrant, they will always fade. So my top tip of all top tips, whether you're copper, and one of our lovely assistants, shout out to the gorgeous Emily, is living proof of that. She's a copper, I colour her hair, and she's got the most beautiful hair. She's adorable, she's so helpful. And if she sees this, hello. And if you're like a true red, like a pillar box red, is colour conditioner. The minute you've coloured your hair, it's going to start to fade. So find your favourite colour conditioners. I love the Weller Colour Fresh masks. I also love Bleach London products. I think they're really good from the drugstore. There are lots of others. I was looking at some from O&M the other day and thinking about getting some to try. So there are lots of products out there, but start using a colour conditioner on your red copper hair the minute it's done, just once a week, and it will maintain the vibrancy of the colour and stop it from fading so quickly. Here's a great hairstyling question. If you roller set your hair and then dry it under a hood, warm but not hot, should you use heat protector or just a setting product? Well, this is interesting. Most setting products do offer some kind of heat protection because styling lotions, they generally have like vinyls and polymers and things in the formulas that actually coat the hair in order to give it that kind of snapback when the roller comes out before you brush it out. Nearly melting. So my advice to you would be this. If you want extra heat protection and you're not sure whether the product that you're using to set your hair is giving you that, then I would pop some heat protection on first, work that through the hair, comb it through, brush it through, and then pop your styling product over the top. I do have a video that's all about heat protectors here on my channel. I do say that a lot, don't I? But the reality of it is if you're thinking of it, I probably have a video on if it's to do with hair. So yes, you can layer them up, but a lot of styling products, I can't obviously mention every single one, but a lot of styling products will have heat protection too. Before I melt, let's end on something I'm asked all the time. Mix of brassy golden hair level 8, how to keep the gold and get rid of the orange tones. So this is a great question and it's one I get asked a lot. Thank you so much. I do have 3 videos, maybe even 4 that deal with this specifically. I've got one that's about Shades EQ gloss formulas that are to deal with brassy hair, not a word that I love, but it's what everyone asks for. So basically, it's like we were talking about way back in the beginning about creating a zingy result. You need something, if you think, let's pop the color wheel on screen, if you think that if hair is brassy, there is gold and there is orange, yellow and orange, okay, in the hair. So you need the opposite of that, blue and violet. But to be honest with you, blue is such a powerful pigment that it can quite easily make hair on a level 8 look muddy if you go straight in with something that's very powerfully blue and violet. So I would have something that is more neutral or natural, and then I would have a percentage of the blue and the violet depending on how brassy the hair is. Start off with the minimum amount. You can always retone, but if the hair goes muddy and like drab, it's very hard to then get it back because you have to remove that tone. So a minimum amount of something that is blue and violet and something that's neutral to balance that out. And then until you get the, and try that first. And if that works, brilliant. And if not, then you need to go in with a slightly higher concentration of the blue and violet. It's time for me to say goodbye before I dash to put the air conditioning on. Take these clothes off, not all of them. Take this off and maybe go and lay underneath an umbrella by the pool. Hopefully it's cooled down a little bit by now. Might have a cold drink or maybe even some lunch. filming this around lunchtime because it is just too hot to be outside. Thank you so much for all your fantastic questions. As always, if you have a question, please leave it in the comments because it's always wonderful to hear from you. I can't give you specific formulas, I really can't, because it's just impossible. And I still reply to every single person that leaves a comment, not the odd mean comment I get. I don't get very many, so I'm very grateful for that, but I do reply to everybody. A huge thank you if you've got to the end of the video, and yeah, thanks for watching. I've already said thank you for the questions. Yes, I have. Thanks for watching. You all take lots of care, and I'll see you all. Oh, I nearly forgot to say it, didn't I? If you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful, you know exactly what to do. You liking this really helps because it helps push my content out to more people. And if you enjoyed it and you think a friend would enjoy it and some of the hair related questions that I've answered, then please forward it on to them because it does make a huge difference in this crazy wild west of social media. You all take lots of care, and I'll see you all in the next one.